morning and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I'll be your host for today. A huge shout out to all the classrooms who are joining us for our next event in our Mountain Parks Peak Discovery Series with Parks Canada. So we've already had several events so far, and coming up in the new year, we will have even more of these amazing virtual education programs live from Jasper, from Waterton Lakes, from Banff, from Kootenay, Glacier, and Yoho National Parks in Western Canada. Each of these programs shares a unique story and will give you a look behind the scenes at these amazing places with Parks Canada experts. They're fun events, they're interactive presentations, and cover a wide range of topics like wildlife conservation, archaeology, protecting species at risk, and so much more. So these events are in English and French. And if you want to check out the site, you can visit it here, exploringbytheseat.com/peak. And that'll give you a taste of the events we've had so far, and then a peek of the events that are coming up. And we'll post the rest of the series that we have coming up from January onwards as well. So for today's event, we have a really exciting one. We've got Lori joining us from Banff National Park. Lori's a public outreach education officer, and she's going to take us on a little interactive adventure. And we're going to learn a little bit more about protecting our natural world and species at risk. So I'm really excited for this event. I'm going to bring Lori in live with us right now. Hey, Lori, how are we doing today?
Great, Joe. Thanks for having me back.
All right. Well, Lori, it's great to have you with us. We have a great group of classrooms. Classrooms will be on camera with us. They can interact a little bit later. We also have classrooms tuning in live via YouTube. So don't be shy, everybody. Say hi to us. I already see some classrooms in Ontario and Quebec and Alberta saying hi. So use that chat sidebar and let us know where you're joining us from. But Lori, maybe I'll throw it to you and I'll let you take over for a little bit and let's get into it.
All right, sounds good. Well, hello, bonjour from Banff National Park. My name's Lori. I'm one of the Parks Canada team here. And this part of the Canadian Rocky Mountains became Canada's first national park back in 1885. But the roots of this place goes back much farther. And we acknowledge that Banff National Park is within the present-day territory of Treaties 6, 7, and 8, as well as the Métis homeland. The lands and waters of Banff have been used for millennia by Indigenous peoples for sustenance, ceremony, trade, and travel. We thank them for their continuous stewardship and for sharing the land with us. So welcome to Conservation Quest. Today, you are all citizen scientists on a virtual quest to find sensitive species that live in Banff National Park. So you will have to use your keen observation skills and outdoor know-how to succeed. We will save a few minutes for questions at the end, so be sure to save those up in your mind or put them into the Q&A chat. So today, at certain points in the story, I will be asking you to make a choice that will direct how things go. To get your answers, we're going to use Slido. Join on your laptop, tablet, or mobile device by using this QR code or by going to slido.com. Enter the code 685373 to join the poll. In between polls, you're going to see a message that there are no active polls at the moment. And we have a slight delay in the broadcast, so the polls might even open before you see the choices announced. So be sure to stand by and keep that polling page open on your device. So make your selection in Slido as soon as you can, then hit send. Once your choice is sent, you will see the real-time poll results rolling in on your device. And the choices with the most votes will be the ones that we follow. Be ready to answer quickly so that your choice is counted. Now let's practice. Answer yes or no to this question. Have you ever visited Banff National Park? Answer yes or no in Slido now. Banff is the most visited park in Canada, with over 4 million visitors every year. And Parks Canada is the government agency that looks after Banff, as well as 47 other national parks across the nation. It's Parks Canada's mission to balance human use of the parks with nature conservation. All right. Oh, I see 100 responses already. That's fantastic. I see that the majority so far is responding, yes, you have visited Banff. Super. Well, whether or not you have actually been here in person so far, I hope that you enjoy our virtual tour of the park today. All right, so we're going to close that poll. Oh, there's still more coming in. Excellent. Keep it going. But the poll is going to close here in just a second. Our story today features the Seek app. So you don't need to have this app on your, you don't need to have this app at all to participate in the story today, but it is a great tool to download later when you want to explore nature in real life. Seek is a free app for kids that works on most mobile devices. If you're out in nature and you find an interesting plant or animal or bug, you can take a picture of it with Seek, and the app will help you to identify it. You can also share your observations with the online community of iNaturalist, which is the parent website of Seek. While the app provides you with help to figure out what you found, you'll also be helping scientists by collecting information about nature. So, what are we seeking today, citizen scientists? 3 species that need your help. First one, the pika. Here are the clues to help you find the pika. It's a small mammal. It lives in rock piles in the alpine region, and it eats mostly plants. Those are your clues. Next, you are searching for the West Slope cutthroat trout. That's a type of fish. It lives in cold, clear water, and it eats bugs and small fish. The third animal that you're seeking today is the black swift. That's a bird that nests on cliffs or canyon walls near water. They lay 1 egg a year, and they eat flying bugs. So remember these clues, friends, because they will help you to find the animals. Many of these species as we can, and I will make sure that we have a bit of time at the end to answer your questions. Be ready to vote when the choices appear. You ready? Let the conservation quest begin. The first choice that you have today is whether you want to start high in the alpine area or low in the valley bottom. So in Slido, vote high or low. If you choose high, you will be exploring the Rocky Mountain tops, also known as the alpine ecoregion. There's a lot of rock and ice up there. It's a difficult place to live, but some fascinating, specially adapted survivors managed to do it. If you choose low, then you will be in the lush green valley, also known as the montane ecoregion. It's easier to travel and survive in the valley. Where would you like to start your quest? I see the votes are rolling in for going up to the alpine. That is where we will go. We are selecting high. To go up the mountain, you start heading uphill. As you hike up the mountain, past the last few stunted trees and into a wide meadow, you see a cute little critter. Huh? It's a mammal. It had underground tunnels, and it's eating plants. Is this the pika you're looking for already? This is your chance to use the Seek app. You take a picture of the little animal. Seek takes a moment to run the photo through its algorithm, and it shows you the answer. Aha! This is a golden-mantled ground squirrel, not a pika. But hang on a second. It looks like the ground squirrel is begging for food. Now you do have some yummy trail mix in your backpack. It's all natural, so it would be fine for a ground squirrel to eat, right? What do you think? Your next choice. In Slido, choose feed or don't feed. Do you offer this hungry little guy a bit of food, or do you not feed it even though it's being super cute? Many animals, large and small, are attracted to our human food. And with millions of people visiting Banff National Park every year, it's important that every visitor understands the wildlife rules. The wildlife rules are the best habits for people to follow to keep animals safe and wild. What do we think, team? I see the majority is voting don't feed. All right, we will make that choice. Exactly. Well done, everybody. People should not feed the wildlife in Banff National Park. That's one of the most important wildlife rules. Human food can be bad for their health, and providing snacks can lead animals to become aggressive toward people or develop bad habits like begging at lunch stops or raiding campsites. And it's against the law and can get you a pretty steep fine if you're caught. It's better to let the wildlife find their own natural foods. Good job. You continue to hike up and up into the high alpine. And the higher you go, the colder and windier it gets. You reach a split in the trail. In one direction, you see a glacier. That's a big chunk of ice that stays on the mountain year after year. The other way, there's a slope of jumbled rocks with a few plants growing here and there. Make your choice in the Slido poll now. Do you investigate the glacier or investigate the rocks? Almost half of Banff National Park is made up of rock, ice, and meadows at the tops of mountains. This is called the alpine ecoregion. It can be a really difficult place to survive. It's too cold and windy for trees to grow, and the summer only lasts a couple of months. So animals that live up here have to be specially adapted to survive the harsh conditions. Well, it's a pretty close race, but I'd say the majority, 55%, are saying go explore the rocks. Okay, almost 60% now. We will choose to explore the rocks. The rock here is loose with lots of spaces for little animals to hide. There are also plenty of plants growing in between the rocks and in nearby meadows. Now, this high rocky slope should be perfect pika habitat. Let's look for any evidence of pikas. What do you see in this picture? Right, it looks like a bunch of dried plants. Well, friends, this is a pika haystack. Great find. Plants only grow about 8 weeks of the year here in the alpine zone. So in that short time, the pikas work very hard gathering piles of plants and drying them out. But why do you think they do that? On Slido, choose better or later or both. Does drying plants make them tastier and better to eat? Or are the pikas just saving a snack for later? What do you think? Fun fact, pikas are the smallest member of the rabbit family. That's the group of animals known as lagomorphs. Up here, they spend all day like little farmers gathering grasses and plants. And you can hear their shrill little whistles as they watch for predators or defend their haystacks from other pikas. All right, what did we guess? Oh, it's fun to watch these results come in. I see most people are guessing both. Well, if you said better, you're right. Some of the pika's harvest can be poisonous to eat while it's fresh. But once dried, the toxins break down and the plants are fine to eat. And somehow the pikas know which plants are best to eat fresh and what's best to eat dried. And those of you who said later or both, well, you're right too. Even though they live in such a cold place, pikas do not hibernate. They stay active in their tunnels under the rocks and snow all year long. So they need to store enough food to get them through the long winter. Now, can anyone guess what this stuff is? It's pika poo. Now, there are two types of pika poo. Let's look at them both and see how they're different. These pellets are wet, black, and stringy looking. They smell like a fresh cut lawn. There are very few droppings like this. These pellets, though, are brown and fibrous in texture. They're dry, and there's many droppings like this. So pikas eat plants and then partially digest them. The first time through, they excrete the black, wet, stringy type of dropping. And then they'll eat that again, true story, to get even more nutrition out of it. And this is how pikas make the most of their limited resources. The second time through, the waste comes out as a dry brown pellet of poo, and pikas will not eat that again because every bit of food value has been worked out of it. And by the way, friends, humans should not attempt this. People have different digestive systems than pikas, and you would get very sick if you tried it. So, pikas have been here. You know this for sure because you have found their droppings and their hay piles. Now you scan the rocky slope to see if you can find an actual live pika. Nothing is moving up here except the wind. Where have the pikas gone? You know that pikas need to live where it's cold. Remember the clues, right? Climate change is causing mountaintops to warm up faster than other parts of the earth. So in Slido, choose up or down. Should you look for the pika higher up or lower down on the mountain? Now, pika's thick fur is like a full-time down parka. But have you ever worn a winter coat on a hot summer day? It's not very comfortable, right? And it can even be life-threatening if you can't cool off. So pikas overheat in temperatures above 25 degrees Celsius. That's why a warming climate in pika habitat can be a big problem for their survival. Which way would a pika move on the mountain to avoid the heat? Ooh, it's a very close one. I see a lot of folks are guessing that the pika would move up. Let's try that. Good instinct. Even though the mountaintops are warming faster than other parts of the park, it's all relative. The mountaintops are still the coolest places in Banff National Park. Since pikas need the cold, they're moving higher up into the alpine zone as the climate warms. Now there is a pika around here somewhere. I think I heard a call. Can you see it? Look closely. There it is. Yes, they really blend in when they're not moving. My goodness. So get ready on Slido. This is your chance to get a good photo of a pika for Seek. Now, what do you think the best way of getting that photo is? Should you try to get close to the pika or stay quiet and still at a distance? Choose closer or quiet. Pikas are very well camouflaged on the rocks. These little animals are hunted by hawks and weasels, so they're always on the lookout for predators. Pikas give a loud eep to warn their family if they sense danger. So, what did we choose here? Oh, very smart, everybody. Staying quiet and still. Let's choose that. Good choice. Staying quiet and still is the best way to watch wildlife without disturbing it. You use your zoom on your camera and you get a great picture of the pika to post to Seek. You upload your observation, and now other nature lovers can see where you found a pika. This information might help scientists study pikas and save their habitat. Great job. All right, there is time still to go and look for another species. Where would you like to explore now? Back over to the glacier or into the valley bottom? Oh, there we are. Ooh, there's a lot of folks that seem to want to stay high up on the mountain. What is there going to be to explore? All right, very cool. Let us check out the glacier. So on the glacier, we can see that there are rocks and a stream to follow. So the rocks had quite a few plants. Oh, right. We need to follow the stream. We don't need to go back to the rocks. We've already found the pika over there. We're going to follow that stream downhill. So you scramble over jumbled rocks and you can see a small lake surrounded by trees a little further down the slope. You reach the lakeside. This is a lovely scenic spot, isn't it? A nice place for a rest. Yeah, it's been a long hike and you're getting hungry and thirsty. You sit down on a rock and you open your pack. You've got a bottle of water, your favorite trail mix, a juicy apple, and a banana. You drink some water, you eat the apple and the banana. Boy, you're hungry. Now, what should you do with the core and the banana peel? In Slido, choose leave it or pack it out. I mean, they're natural, so they should just decompose, right? So you look around and you notice that there are no apple trees or banana trees here. So these cores and the peels are not native to the alpine, but they're biodegradable, right? So it might not cause any damage. It's not like you're leaving your plastic water bottle or your trail mix wrapper behind as litter. I see most folks are choosing to pack it out. Let us make that choice. Excellent job. Everything you carry in has to be carried out. Even though peels and cores are biodegradable, they don't belong beside the trail. And that keeps our parks healthy and beautiful for everyone. Now, it's time to check the lake for clues that any fish might be around. Alpine lakes are remote and seldom visited by people. They can be an important refuge for sensitive species of fish, like maybe the West Slope cutthroat trout that you're looking for today. Perhaps you will find some in here. And what's the best way to look for fish? Vote on your Slido now. Wade into the water and look for them directly, or use a waterproof camera. Now, Parks Canada uses lots of different techniques for observing wildlife. Some can be very simple, like looking for fresh tracks in the snow, and others rely on technology like cameras and GPS collars. It all depends on the situation. Okay, question here is, should you wade into the water or use a camera? All right, we have quite a few folks responding to use the camera. Let us make that choice. That is a great choice. Parks Canada often uses cameras like this to observe animals without disturbing them. So you secure a waterproof camera to a rock in the lake. Whoo, that water is icy cold. And look how clear it is too. These are good signs that it's a West Slope cutthroat trout habitat. So you take some time to relax beside the lake and you enjoy the scenery for a while. And then you pull the camera out of the water to see what it's captured. What did we get? Excellent. There are definitely fish in this lake. But are they the West Slope cutthroat trout that you're looking for? Or are they an introduced species like a rainbow trout? You see, in Banff's many lakes and rivers, rainbow trout are winning the battle for space because they can live in warmer waters and reproduce more quickly than their cousins. But some remote alpine lakes can't be reached by the rainbow trout. So the West Slope cutthroat trout have the habitat to themselves. Now here's a West Slope cutthroat trout illustration. It shows a red slash mark under the jaw of the fish. And that is where the name cutthroat comes from. So you look at the video that the camera caught. And you can't quite see if there's a marking under the fish's jaw from this angle in the video. So you upload an image to Seek to see if you can identify it. And yes, looks like it's a match. Congratulations, you have found the West Slope cutthroat trout. So just as you pat yourself on the back for a job well done, you hear a helicopter approaching. You see a small group of people at the far end of the lake. There's a huge orange bucket dangling from a helicopter on a long line. The people are putting something into a bucket. What is going on? You go over to ask them. So they tell you that Parks Canada is restocking some remote alpine lakes with West Slope cutthroat trout. The trout can swim downstream and repopulate the river but the other fish can't swim upstream to compete for their habitat in the remote alpine lakes. So great job, everybody. Joe, I'm just going to check in and see how long we want to go for today. If we want to take a few minutes to look for another species, or if we should go to the classes for questions.
Well, Laura, I think this is a great trip so far. So my vote, and I think the classrooms might agree, we can get some of them to put their hands up too, is I think we should do another species, because even if we can only do a few questions, we have our Padlet. So students could send in questions via the Padlet, and then they can look for their answers maybe tomorrow or later on in the week.
Sounds great. Okay, let's keep going. So we are going to explore. So we've seen the rocks. We have to go to the valley and see what is there. So we are going into the montane ecoregion. Now, these valley bottoms make up only 3% of the area of Banff National Park, but it's where we find the most plants and animals. It's warmer than the alpine, there's plenty of fresh water, and the weather is much gentler than on the Rocky Mountain tops. So open your slide and make your choice. Will you choose to search in the marsh, or do you want to explore the forest? Choose forest or marsh to let me know. In the forest, you'll find lots of trees, of course. There's good cover for animals and plenty of trails for us to explore. The marsh is muddier, but it's fascinating because even though the wetlands make up only a tiny part of Banff National Park, they actually support the most life. Ooh, overwhelming majority would like to explore the forest. Okay, here we go, friends. You follow the trail into the forest. Oh, wait a minute. There is a very large dropping filled with berry seeds on the side of the trail. Ew. Now, this looks quite fresh, friends. There might be a bear in the area. And you look around and you see there are lots of berry bushes here too. So this is definitely where a bear might like to hang out. And berries are a bear's #1 food source when they fatten up for hibernation in the fall. So you have to be on high alert on this path. Open your pole now. Should you stay quiet so the bears won't notice you, or should you make some noise to let the bear know that you're coming through? Click on quiet or noise to make your choice. So even though Banff National Park is 6,641 square kilometers in size, it actually doesn't have a huge number of bears. There are only about 70 grizzly bears in the entire park and about the same number of black bears. But with 4 million people visiting every year and sharing the montane ecoregion, it's not uncommon for bears and humans to come into contact with each other. So let's see how you would like to proceed. It's close, but I think the majority is choosing to make some noise. Let's make that choice. So you clap your hands and you call out, "Hey, bear! Yo, bear!" And you hear the sound of something large moving in the forest, and it's moving calmly away from you. Good job. Bears often try to avoid people, and if they hear you coming, they'll usually move out of the area. So it's best to let a bear know that you're in its territory by using your voice or clapping your hands or even singing a song. So you backtrack to another trail away from the berry bushes and carry on. It's shady and cool in the forest and the air smells fresh. You hear a bird chirping in the trees. Maybe it's that black swift that's on your list. And you look closely into a nearby spruce tree and you find a nest. Is this a swift's nest? Time to remember the clues. Do swifts build their nests in trees? And how many eggs do they lay? Try to remember. So you remember that black swifts build their nests on steep canyon walls, close to running water, and they lay only 1 egg a year. So you use your Seek app to record this find, and you discover that it's the nest of an American robin. Good find. You upload your observation. Now, In the distance, you hear the sound of water and you hike toward it. You arrive at John Canyon, the most visited places in Banff National Park. Canyon with a rushing stream at the bottom, so it's perfect habitat for the black swift. You begin to look for other clues. Ooh, these flying bugs definitely look like black swift food. There's a mayfly and a caddisfly, a stonefly, and a flying ant. These would all be delicious for the black swifts. And did you know that black swifts only catch food while they're flying? Now you hear the chipping call of the adult black swift overhead. You catch a quick glimpse as it whips by, scooping insects out of the air. That is a lucky sighting, friends. Black swifts are notoriously hard to spot. They're rare, they fly very quickly, and they usually fly too high up in the sky to see them. Now, you've heard that maybe there is a nest with a chick nearby. You spot a clump of moss and sticks on the canyon wall. A nest. Is there a chick inside? No, not in this one. This nest has been abandoned by the black swifts. It's very near to the trail, so there might have been too many people around this nest for the swift's comfort. So you continue up the trail to see if you can find a nest that the swifts are using. Now, you could continue along the official trail, but you might get closer to the nesting area if you go off trail and scramble down to the stream bank. Time to open your Slido. Should you stay on the trail or go off the trail? Choose trail or off trail now. If you go off the trail, there's a secret cave by the creek. It's famous from Instagram, and it would be super cool to get your own picture there. But maybe you should stick to the official trail. I don't know. There's a band of red tape across the off-trail area. It might be telling you something. Oh, we've got some rebels here. We're voting to go off the trail. Okay, that's where you want to go. We're going to go there. So you duck under the red tape and you start to scramble down toward the creek. Boom! Suddenly a park warden jumps out from behind a tree and orders you, stop! Uh-oh, you've been caught. And you could get a fine of up to $25,000 for entering a closed area. Oof. So the park warden walks you back to the trail and explains why this closure is so important. See, black swifts are an endangered species, and people are getting too close and disturbing their nest. That might lead them to abandon their one and only chick. Also, going off trail in the canyon can be really dangerous. The creek is super cold and really fast. So you apologize to the warden for your poor choice, and you explain that actually you're hoping to see the black swifts, so you really want to do what you can to protect them. And the warden lets you go with only a warning this time. And from now on, you stick to the trail. So you scan, where are we here? Okay, so we continue on. A little further along, you pull the binoculars out of your pack and you scan the canyon wall for any signs of movement. Is there a nest? Suddenly you see a twitch of movement and a bundle of moss and sticks. There it is. It's the swift's nest, and there's a chick in it. You decide to take a photo and send it to Seek as an observation, but it's a bit dark in this canyon. Should you take a picture with a flash or without? Open your poll now and choose flash or no flash. A baby black swift stays in its nest for almost 50 days after hatching. During that whole time, the parents have to feed it because it can't catch bugs for itself. And when the chick finally takes flight, they have a long migration ahead. Black swifts fly all the way to Brazil to spend their winter in the Amazon rainforest. All right, so our team is choosing to take a picture with no flash. Let's make that choice. That is excellent. You know that swifts hunt flying insects and they hunt at dawn and dusk, so their eyes are extremely sensitive. You turn off the flash, you take a picture with your zoom lens, and you log another Seek observation. Excellent job. So it looks like we have found all 3 species today, citizen scientists. Excellent job. And we have time for some questions, I think, Joe.
All right. Perfect, Lori. That was great timing. We found all 3 species. A big shout out to our students, even those rebellious ones who wanted to go off trail. They just wanted to find that swift so bad.
Yeah, sometimes, we make choices in the name of doing interesting things, right? But
Yeah.
it's always interesting to see what the repercussions might be.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let us take a few questions. But before I do, because some classes might have to start ducking out soon, I do want to share a few links here. So I want to start off with this one to the Padlet. So if you don't get a chance to ask your question today, or you have to duck out early, you can visit this Padlet. I'll also send it in an email to everybody who registered for the event as well. So you can pop your questions in there. But let's see how many classes we can jump to and grab some questions before some of them do have to leave. So let us start here. We're going to go to our group. We've got a group of grade 4s in Alberta with Miss Chrisman. Let me bring them in here. There they are.
Ronan.
Hey, grade 4s, how was your conservation quest?
Good. Okay, Ronan, stand in front of the camera, honey. Can you get right there? All right, ask your question.
At first I knew that the western cut trout would be near the glacier since it was near the stream.
Ask your question, honey. It's a question.
Perfect.
Answer.
And I knew that.
No, what's a question? Ask the question.
My question was, would there be any other endangered animals that if we had more time we could go find?
Yeah, every time we play Conservation Quest, it's a bit different. So there's also a chance to find the Banff Spring snail. So if you've chosen to explore the marsh, you might have found one of our Banff Spring snails there. And that's a special endangered species that lives only in Banff National Park and nowhere else in the world.
All right. Very, very cool. We're going to bring another group here and grab one of their questions. We've got Miss Mustard's class. They're in Brampton, Ontario. It looks like some 4th and 5th graders. Let me bring them in front and center. Hey, Brampton, how we doing?
Good.
Good.
Sorry, to ask your question.
Do pikas live in Ontario?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't think so. I don't think Ontario has high enough mountains for pika habitat. They have to live high up in the alpine in the mountains.
All right. I would agree with that. I think that's right too. Do you guys have another question handy? We can grab another one before we go to our next group.
We do. Come on up, Sierra.
Perfect.
How many black swifts are in the world right now?
I didn't quite catch that one. There's a little glitch in the audio.
How many black swifts are in the world right now?
Ooh, gosh, I don't know off the top of my head. I'll have to look that one up. We'll add it to the Padlet.
All right, perfect. And if our classrooms want a little homework as well, they could do some research on that too. Or you're right, the Padlet is a perfect spot to find that answer. All right, let us jump to another camera class here. We've got Miss Will's crew hanging out with us. They are in Lethbridge. Let me bring them in front and center. Hey, Lethbridge, how are we doing today? All right, very cool. Who's got a question for us?
Ask your question, Loki.
I know more videos about weekends.
Did you guys catch that?
No, I couldn't hear it. Sorry.
Okay. Say it one more time, Loki, nice and loud.
When you make more videos of finding animals?
Oh, I think she's asking, will you make more videos about finding animals?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's always new stuff coming from Parks Canada and Banff National Park.
Yeah, this event today was a lot of fun. We haven't done one like this before, but it was great to see so many students coming in with their responses. Very, very cool. Is there anybody else with a question? I think I see a few standing. Oh, yep, here we go.
Yep, Sid, go ahead. Oh, no, I said Sid. So nice and loud, Sid.
I lost the video.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Sid.
All right, thank you.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, there we go, Lori. Big fans of the videos
Awesome. Okay,
that we had today. You guys are great. Thank you so much for being with us. Let me check in with our grade 4s here before I take a couple YouTube questions. I want to check in because give you guys a chance for a second question if you have one.
Awesome.
How big can the black swifts get?
They're not very big. They're only, about that big from wingtip to wingtip. They're not super big birds, but they make a very big journey in their migration between Canada and South America.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh,
Good
thank you.
question.
I made it.
Do you guys have any more?
Squeeze another one in if you got it.
Okay, quick, Max. Okay, who has a question real fast? Jared. Okay, quickly say it, honey. Fast.
Is there any other main habitat like the black swift, like the pika? Or is there
Other habitats for the black swift
or like the pika? Yeah.
or the pika?
Okay, so I think he's wondering, if I got it right, you're wondering if there's other habitats that you might find the swift or the pika in.
Yeah, the swifts are usually found in the sky where there's lots of flying insects, but what the really important bit of their habitat is those steep canyon walls where they put their nests. So they put their nests there by the waterfalls to protect them from predators because it's a really difficult place to access. So those canyons are kind of rare, and we're really lucky in Banff National Park to have Johnston Canyon where they do nest.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
Bud.
you.
Great question. So before I take a few YouTube questions, I want to pop up a few reminders. First one being that Miss Will's class very much enjoyed the video. So I have a feeling, Lori, do you want to tell us about these new videos that you have?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks. Yeah, we put up some new music and songs that are all about our wildlife rules because in our story, we had choices, right? And we make choices every day about how we treat the natural world. And these songs are a fun way to learn about what some of the best things are that we can do to help nature and the wildlife and the habitats in our national parks and all around us as well. So yeah, if you go to that page, we have our music video for Give Them Room. You get to see me sing and with some puppets. It's great fun. And then we have audio tracks for the rest of the songs, plus our older Wild Sings music tracks there as well. So if anyone knows the Goat and Sheep song, that is on there as well for streaming or download.
Excellent. And when I do share the Padlet link in an email to the classes that registered, I'll add this link to it. So I know it's a big link, so it might be hard for some classes to grab. And that's, again, the Padlet there. If you go to padlet.com/our initials and then Quest, it'll come up there for you. But again, I will share that. Let's grab a couple YouTube questions before we wrap up for today. Oh, I like this question. This, again, talking about things that people do that maybe aren't great decisions. This student is wondering, are there people who try to capture things like the swifts or the pika and try to sell them as pets?
Ooh, gosh, I've never seen evidence of swifts or pikas trying to be caught as pets. I mean, pikas are my number one favorite animal in the Canadian Rockies. I think they're the cutest thing going, but they wouldn't do well as pets. And I've never seen evidence of people trying to collect those particular animals and make them into pets.
Yeah, I bet their habitat helps too. It's tricky habitat to get into, whether you have to go high or onto the cliffs. And swifts are pretty fast. I don't know if they'd make a very good pet. So it's good to hear that there's no pressure like that. Other pressures, but at least people aren't trying to keep them for pets. That's good.
Yeah.
Another classroom is wondering, you mentioned the rabbits, or sorry, the pikas are part of a group, the lagomorphs. And so they're wondering, do all rabbits poop this way, all from that group?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. If anyone has a pet rabbit, you might have heard of night droppings, because they do the same thing as the pikas do. They digest things once and then they excrete a pellet. It's not poo yet. It's partially digested. And they know that this is, they can eat it again and get more nutrition out of it. So it's a tactic, and it's an adaptation that these animals have made to get really the most nutrition they can out of their food, to digest it twice. But yeah, don't try that at home.
All right. Well, that was an awesome event today, Lori. It was very interactive. We got to learn a lot about the ecosystems as well as those species as we searched around for them. I will share links with the classrooms if you want to check out those new music videos, if you want to hop onto the Padlet and add some more questions. Lori, that was so much fun. I can't wait for the French version tomorrow.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. And remember those wildlife rules the next time that you're out in nature. And go ahead and download that Seek app. It's great fun to play with.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring in a few of our classrooms are still with us backstage. So I'm going to bring a few of them in for a big goodbye and thank you. If you want to get a little bit loud, thanks, everyone. It was great to have you on our question.
How do we
All right. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Sign off for today.